Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tobacco Card Tuesday. So it's a late fall, actually Halloween night just before dusk here in southern New England. It's pretty darn cold. You can see the leaves in the background are getting colorful. The sky is overcast, supposed to rain tomorrow, but tonight it'll be good enough for the trick-or-treaters. Well, we're going to be talking about my favorite set, the 1911 T205's gold borders. And in particular, we're going to be talking about the minor league subset. So the T205, famous for those gold borders, though the two cars you see are kind of beat up and the gold border is washed off. But they came in three series. The first one are the American Leaguers, like this tie card right here. And you see it has his portrait inside a diamond baseline. And it has a baseball equipment on the bottom. And a banner, it has his name, Ty Cobb, and the team, Detroit Americans. Up top has Tigers, a little tiger logo. And on the backs, first card with statistics and bio. So all the American Leaguers look like this. The National Leaguers are a little bit bigger portraits. Facsimile autograph, and they look like that. And this is Christy Mathewson. And you see on the bottom it has his facsimile signature, C. Mathewson of the New York Nationals, Giants on the upper right, and their logo upper left. And once again, the backs. They came in a multitude of different tobacco brands, and each back will determine that brand. So, the third subset are the minor leaguers. There were 12 cards in this set. A lot of the minor leaguers are former major league players on the decline of their years. Some just start getting into managing. But there are a couple as young rookies waiting to be called up to the big leagues. So the first one is Jack Dunn of the Baltimore Orioles. He was a player manager and then manager of the Orioles. He is a former big leaguer. And all the minor league cards either come in brand Hassan or Polar Bear. They do have bios, but they don't have stats on the back. So those are the only two brands they came in. And like I said, there's 12 in the set. They tend to be half portraits, like this one here, or action shots. And they have that ornate border with the name and team name on the bottom, and initials for the team on the two top corners. And they tend to be very colorful. So this is Jack Dunn, manager of the minor league Baltimore Orioles. And in 1914, he signed a unknown lefty pitcher whose name was George Herman Ruth. And he took him under his wing and helped encourage him. And people would say that's Dunn's $10,000 baby. And that's how he got the name Babe Ruth. And in 1920, He signed another unknown lefty pitcher who went on to become great, and that was Lefty Grove. Many major leaguers went through him under his tutelage, and he was good at finding these players and sending them up to the major leagues. And those are his two famous, Babe Ruth and Lefty Grove. So Jack Dunn of the Eastern League Baltimore Orioles. Another Oriole, Merle Doc Atkins. He was a pitcher and former league player, so this is downside his career. And he attended medical school in the winter during the off season, and that's how he got the nickname Doc. And you can see beautiful colors in this one. The sunset with the stadium in the background, the green grass. And this one's a Hassan. So Doc Atkins, Baltimore Orioles. Next one is George Merritt of the Buffalo Bisons. Another former major leaguer. He was a pitcher. Beautiful background, blue sky, green grass. The 1910s 11 industrial looking city backdrop. And this one's a polar bear. Now, polar bear were not cigarette packs like the other brands. They're actually loose tobacco to be rolled or put in pipe, or I don't know, I guess chewed, I don't know. So they were with the loose tobacco, and thus you have many staining on the backs of polar bear brand cards. There's George Merritt of the Buffalo Bisons. So 2 Baltimore, 1 Buffalo. Now we got a few Newark Indians. The first one I want to show you is John Nee of the Newark Indians. He was a lifelong minor leaguer and infielder. And in his later years, he was a player during this pitcher. In the later years, he became a manager and then a scout. This one has a Hassan back. Now, I said it before, my favorite looking card is the Goodwin King Kelly. It has a beautiful, about to be stormy sky in the background, beautiful card. I would probably rate this as the second most beautiful card. I don't know if it shows up on the phone, but that background with the sunset is totally fabulous. With the green grass and the stadium in the background. So as far as looks, this is probably my second favorite card. I don't own the King Kelly on Goodwin. I know Orlando does, and I always get jealous every time he shows it. But this is also a beautiful card. John Nee of the Newark Indians. Another Newark player is Lewis McAllister. Many of these Newark players had this deep red background. Little chipping, but I'm sure if this was mint, this would be gorgeous. He was a versatile switch hitter, and he played every position. His main position was catcher. Lewis McAllister, and this is Hassan. Next one is Johnny Frick. Once again, that deep red background of the Newark players. They're either that or that sunset. Johnny Frick was an infielder, and he was also a lifelong minor leaguer, and he played both on the West Coast and the East Coast. And this is a polar bear. Johnny Frick. But you can see these cards, the minor league cards, are absolutely gorgeous, especially in high condition. Beautiful cards. Next Newark Indian is Wyatt Lee. He has that sunset background, not as good as Knee, N-E-E, but still very pretty background. Ornate borders. The N for Newark. And this is a Hassan. And Wyatt Lee was a former major league pitcher, so he's on the downside of his career in the minor leagues. And the last Newark Indian is Forrest Cady. I probably should get a better condition card. This has a little deeper, rich, intense background, if it wasn't so beat up, of that red. But once again, a red background for these Newark Indians. And this is a Hassan. Now, this is a up-and-coming player. He will become a future catcher in the majors for the Boston Red Sox. And he would be the preferred catcher for Smokey Joe Wood. It was his personal catcher. So there's Forrest Hick Cady. Okay, gonna move on to a different team. And this is Charlie Hanford of the Jersey City Skeeters. Nice blue and starting to darken sky in the background, the green grass, the stadium. He was a long-time minor leaguer. When the Federal League started in I believe it was 14-15, he did get called up. So he did play 2 years in Major League Ball, and it was for the Federal League. Then when that league disbanded, he went down to the minors and became a lifer minor. He was an outfielder. Now we have Henry Batch of the Rochester Hustlers. Dark blue background with a aqua background for the grass. Nice ornate border. R for Rochester. Hassan back. Other than being an outfielder and on the Rochester in 1910 or 12, there's really not much known about Mr. Henry Batch. Now, Jimmy Fallon, the Providence Grays. 2 Providence players. They have this deep green background with blue P's up top for Providence. And this is Jimmy Fallon. He was an outfielder. I don't think he ever made the major leagues. I couldn't find no major league stats for him. Once again, Hassan. So Jimmy Fallon. And then the last one is my favorite card of my favorite set. And that's Jimmy Collins of the Providence Grays. Dark green background. Nice swinging action. Jimmy Collins was a very good third baseman for the Boston National League. And when the American Leagues started, he jumped leagues. And he was on the first team of the Boston Red Sox. Excuse me. He also became manager of the Boston Red Sox. Beautiful card, and he is in the Hall of Fame as a third baseman. And this, once again, is a Hassan back. Now, just this minor sampling of the cards, I would have to say Polar Bear is maybe a little bit more scarce than Hassan, although there is no price difference. That's just my observation. I assume it's true, but I do know for a fact there is no price difference between the two backs. So that's it. A little venture through T205s from 1911 and looking at the 12 players in the minor league subset. Well, everybody have a safe Halloween, and thank you very much.